Hello YouTube, Sean from DIY Projects here. My friend gave me this 46-inch LCD Samsung LCD TV, and he asked me if I can fix it, and I've actually fixed the problem. Now I want to show you how I did it. First thing first, I've noticed was that the TV was trying to boot up, but it just simply wouldn't. The power supply is not working properly. That's my first assumption. So there was a clicking sound coming back from the back of the panel. It indicates me that the relay is trying to engage, but something goes wrong and doesn't want to work. Now, first thing first, if you don't know how to work with 240 volts, do not try this, because 240 volts can kill you. Once again, 240 volts can kill you. Don't try this if you don't know how to work with 240 volts. Now, don't try this at home or even at someone else's house. I normally use a 500 watts power inverter, because even if something goes wrong, you're not going to go ahead and do nasty damage to yourself or to the TV, because it has current limiting capacity. Not like your household power supply, you can get up to 10 amps before things started getting really bad. Now, first thing first, take your back panel off and have a look at what's happening inside. Now, I want to explain to you the components and the driver boards. That's your driver board. If something goes wrong with this board, get yourself a second-hand one or buy yourself a brand new one, because they're really hard to fix, because they do run on a software basis, surface-mounted chips, very hard to work with and very hard to troubleshoot. Now, but the good thing is, with these type of TVs, 90% of the time, it's the power supply that fails. And they fail because of capacitors. Now, this one had these two capacitors. I'll get a better angle. They were the one that was originally installed, 1000 microfarad capacitors. As you can see, they're clearly bulging. And the middle, you can see there's a minor crack, visible crack. That indicates me, without even do any further testing, that tells me that capacitor is gone. So I replaced it with 1000 microfarad. This time I put a 50 volts, because 50 volts does help in terms of reliability, but trying to stick to the same capacitance. It is used for smoothing purposes, filtering purposes, not as a timing circuit, so you can get away with it. Then check for fuse, check for the fuse, check for any other damages, check for field effect transistors, see if they're damaged before you started going with your multimeter poking around. Just look for any obvious signs. Most of the time you can pick up problems like fuse, capacitors, replace it. Before you boot it up with an inverter, because, as I said, if something does go wrong, you're not going to go ahead and do massive damage to the board. But keep in mind, they're electrolytic capacitors, so they're polarized, so you need to install them correctly. This way it's striped, that's actually negative, and on the board you have to actually install it the correct way you have taken it from. So I've replaced those two capacitors, and I tried to power it on, and this is what happened. Takes a while to boot up. Waiting for it. Boom! It's working. There you go. So I didn't really want to go ahead and poking around too much, because the TV is fixed. So that's an easy fix for Samsung TV. Switchboard power supply. Check for the switchboard power supply and replace it with the right capacitors. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any question, please leave your questions in the comment description below, and see you next time.